Hello everyone and welcome to Hero Breakdown. In this video I will be doing something a little bit different. Instead of focusing on a specific build, I'm going to give an in-depth overview of the hero, covering his abilities, talents, and ways to play him effectively. Let's begin by dismantling Gazlowe. Gazlowe comes from the Warcraft franchise and falls into the specialist role. As such, he has a pretty unique kit. He is probably the closest thing to a jungler in this game. Because of that, Gazlowe excels at killing minions and taking out mercenary camps. But he also has the added value for team fights thanks to his stuns in Gravel Bomb 3000. Gazlowe is not very good at chasing down enemies or being in the front lines, however. Let's cover Gazlowe's basic abilities. First up is the Rocket Turret. This ability lets Gazlowe place a turret that lasts for 36 seconds. Initially, you can only place 2 down, and if talented, you can get up to 4. You can actually place more, it's just that the old ones will time out as you place the newer ones. The turrets are great for taking out minions, merc camps, and setting up a defensive position around map objectives. For instance, guarding the shrine on the Dragonshire map. They can also be used to give your team an escape route. The turrets provide sight for your team, so placing them in tall grass can be very helpful. Gazlowe's next ability is his Death Laser. This is a charged attack that deals damage to all enemies in its path. The longer it is charged, the more damage it will do. This ability can be pretty tricky to use as you are stuck standing still until you fire, making you pretty vulnerable. The ability is best used from tall grass or other areas in which enemies cannot see you. This ability can also work well if you have teammates that can bait the enemy into range. Gazlowe's final basic ability is the Explodium Charge. This places a bomb at the target location that will explode and stun enemies in an area for 2 seconds. So this is another ability that really requires good timing, as it has a 2.5 second delay. This ability is great for team fights, however, as it often works as an area denial since most enemies will attempt to avoid the blast radius. This can be useful to force the enemy team to separate, and it's even better if they get caught. Gazlowe's passive ability is Salvager. Whenever an enemy structure or one of your rocket turrets gets destroyed, a piece of scrap will be left behind. This scrap looks like a little screw. If you collect the scrap, you restore 30 mana and reduce your ability cooldowns. You can also manually destroy your turrets using D. This is an important part of playing Gazlowe, as you will want to destroy your turrets every time you are about to leave an area. For example, after clearing a merc camp. This helps to ensure you do not run out of mana too fast and lets you stay in the lane longer. Now, we will take a look at the talents available for Gazlowe and some different ways to build him. You can aim to push lanes, kill mercs, or provide teamfight support, or a combination thereof. So at level 1 there are 5 options. Of the 5, I would say that Regeneration Master is the least useful. Regeneration Master provides plus 4 health regen for every 3 regen globes collected. So Gazlowe is not really meant to be on the front lines taking damage, so getting extra health back I feel is pretty useless. Also, this talent requires that you invest a good bit of time collecting orbs to make it have a noticeable effect. Demolitionist would be my next least favorite talent, though this ability could potentially have some use if you are playing Gazlowe to really push towers. What the talent does is that for every basic attack, you remove 1 ammo from a tower and you deal 10% extra damage for your basic attacks. Scrap-O-Matic Smelter is a viable choice and one talent that I sometimes pick. This talent provides 60 mana from scrap, essentially double the normal amount. I like this talent for some of the larger maps such as Garden of Terror or Cursed Hollow. It allows Gazlowe to stay in lane a bit longer before needing to head back to base for more mana. Break it down as the next talent. This talent increases the cooldown reduction from scrap to 9 over 3 seconds. With this talent you can potentially get more abilities off as you collect scrap. The only problem is, I find Gazlowe to be a bit mana starved, so being able to use more abilities does not help much when you are out of mana. Now this could be viable depending on your composition. For instance, if you're teamed with Malfurion, he can cast Innervate on you often, giving you more mana. Finally, there is Extra TNT. This is probably my number 1 talent pick for this tier in most cases, as this ability is useful regardless of the situation. The talent increases the damage of your Explodium Charge by 10% for each enemy hit up to a max of 100%. This is great for clearing minion waves, night camps, and just team fights in general. For level 4, there are 4 talent options. None of these talents are particularly impactful, so either of them could be taken, but here are my thoughts. Superiority. Reduce non-heroic damage by 50%. I've been using this talent a lot recently, and I think this is my pick for this tier. This talent makes clearing Merc camps, even boss camps, very easy solo. Gazlowe is generally able to clear Merc camps solo, but this talent allows him to do it and come away with much more life, which is nice in case someone tries to gank you. For Clockwork Steam Fist, it's an interesting talent that I have not found much use for. This talent increases the duration of your rocket turrets by 1 second for every basic attack. I could see this being useful in a pushing build, as you could essentially build a wall of turrets as you attack a tower. Perhaps combine this with the level 1 Demolitionist, but for me, I'm never in one place long enough to need my turrets to stay up longer, plus the turrets often get destroyed before they can time out. Next up is Reduce, Reuse, Recycle. This would be my second pick for this tier. This talent gives a 15% chance for minions to drop scrap when they die, so if you're in lane and need some extra mana, you have a chance to get it. Though I will say a 15% seems a bit low. I think this would be more viable if the percentage was higher. Finally, we have Promote. This talent gives you a new ability which you can cast on a friendly minion, giving that minion plus 200% health and 100% damage. I tried this ability and find it very lackluster. The minion still dies very quick, and it can't even be used on mercenaries. Level 7 presents several interesting options. First up, we have Rocket Turret XL. This gives your turret the ability to hit 2 additional targets for 50% damage. I really like this talent, and I often pick it as it increases Gazlowe's damage output quite a bit. Because each turret can now hit 3 targets, Gazlowe can clear minion waves and merc camps much faster. Obviously, this makes the turrets more threatening in teamfights as well. Mercenary Lord is an interesting talent. This talent provides bonuses to merc camps you capture. Siege Giants get 50% damage and Knights get an extra 50% health, but it does not buff the boss Golem. I like this ability for certain maps, Garden of Terror specifically because there are a lot of merc camps to capture. Dragonshire is also another good one. Engine Gunk allows your turrets to slow movement speed by 25%. This can be useful to set up an escape path for your team or an ambush. If say you place a turret in some tall grass and you bait an enemy to chase after you, once they get in range of the turret they will be slowed and you can have an assassin jump out to gank. First Aid gives you an ability that you can be used to restore 35% of your max health over 6 seconds. Generally, I don't find this very useful, and the other options in this tier are just too good to pass up for this. Call Down Mule is a situationally good talent. This talent gives you a new ability which allows you to call down a mule which will repair a structure and refill ammo to that structure for 60 seconds. I would pick this if I was playing very defensively. This would really depend on my team composition and the enemy team composition. At level 10 there are 2 options for heroic abilities. First is my go-to pick, Gravel Bomb 3000. This ability pulls enemies towards the center of the target area and deals damage. This is great if you can combo it with an Explodium charge, which is done by casting the Explodium charge first and then casting the Gravel Bomb. Thus, the enemy will be stunned after getting hit by the bomb. This is great for team fights and can help immensely with taking out an enemy team. The Gravel Bomb can also be used to help you escape a bad situation. The other heroic ability is Robo Goblin. This ability transforms you into a Robo Goblin, which allows you to deal 250% extra damage to minions, mercenaries, and structures. You also reduce disabling effects by 50% while in this form. This lasts 16 seconds, so this ability would be useful again if you aim to push lanes. I can also see potential when combined with Rhaegar's Bloodlust to allow you to quickly clear an enemy fort, though I don't think this ability really adds much to a team fight until later on. At level 13 there are 4 options. Burning Rage deals damage per second to nearby enemy minions. The damage from this talent is rather low, and the ability is pretty insignificant overall. It could be useful to clear merc camps and minion waves a little bit faster, but by this level you're already clearing them quickly. Quick Release Charge is my normal go-to talent for this level. This talent lets you use your Explodium charge twice in a row. This is great for team fights as well as clearing merc camps. Each charge also has a separate cooldown. Next is the Easy Peasy Dimensional Ripper. This talent buffs your death laser so that it will slow heroes by 35% and freeze minions and structures for 3 seconds. This talent certainly has possibilities. If you have teammates that are good at baiting and you're able to hit enemy heroes, you can set up some pretty good team combos. One example is if your team was Stitches, you can start charging Stitches hooks and then you hit with the laser to slow the fleeing and weakened enemy. But for solo queue, I would generally pick Quick Release Charge over this. Sprint is another interesting talent. This talent gives you an extra ability that you can activate to gain 75% movement speed for 3 seconds. This ability is pretty much the only escape mechanic Gazlowe has available aside from getting lucky with a stun. So this ability does have a lot of value if you feel the enemy team is targeting you or that your team cannot protect you. I would pick this talent if I was concerned with survivability. At level 16 there are 5 options. This is probably one of the more interesting tiers as each option could be viable. Long range turrets gives your turrets an extra 25% range. This is a pretty good amount and is good for a more defensive playstyle. Turret storage is my general go-to pick. This talent increases the max turret charge count to 4. You can really lock down an area with 4 turrets. This also makes clearing merc camps much faster and safer. Hyper-focus coils allows you to charge your death laser twice as fast. This synergizes very well with the easy peasy dimensional ripper, allowing you to get your charge shots off fast and keeping the enemy team slowed. Goblin fusion gives your death laser an extra charge and increases the damage dealt by 50%. This can be useful, but is very team composition dependent. Because it takes quite a while to fully charge the laser, most enemies will be out of range before you can hit them, so you need a team that can keep the enemy engaged and in range long enough for you to use the ability. It can also be useful from a defensive perspective if you're hiding behind a tower wall or out of the enemy's vision. Lastly, there is Stone Skin. This talent gives you an extra ability that when activated gives you 30% of your max health as a shield with a 60-second cooldown. I personally do not like this ability very much as the cooldown is a bit long and the shield at level 20 would only be about 1200 damage. This might be an option for an escape if you did not take Sprint at level 13. For the final tier there are 4 options. Resurgence of the Storm, which if you die allows you to revive after 5 seconds, but this effect can only occur once every 120 seconds. I like this ability if the game is going unfavorably or if it's very close. Being able to jump back into a game after 5 seconds when everyone else has a 60-second death timer can be game-changing. Swift Storm increases mount speed by 20% and you cannot be dismounted from damage. I tried this talent once and never again. It seems pretty useless when compared to the other options available. Miniature Black Hole is my go-to pick if my team has the advantage. The talent increases the range of the gravel bomb by 25% and the damage by 50%. This is huge, and you can often catch multiple heroes with it. And the other talent is for the other heroic. Mecha Lord. Basic attacks gain an additional 130% damage to heroes and increase the duration of Robo Goblin by 0.5 seconds per hit. So this talent makes Robo Goblin a bit more useful for teamfights as your damage output is increased a good bit. I would probably pick this over Resurgence if my team had the advantage and I had picked Robo Goblin at level 10. Well, that covers all of the talents. I hope you enjoyed this video and you find it useful. If you did, please subscribe, as your support is greatly appreciated. If you disagree with my analysis, let me know in the comments section. I will see you guys next week with another Heroes video.